Welcome to the MBD podcast, the show where we dig into what's actually working when it comes to scaling businesses with the people who've been there. Today's guest is someone awesome who we share a background and service with, who I'm going to let him introduce himself and take it from here.
Hey, thanks, Jason. It's great to be here. It's good to meet you and catch up on our prior service alignment. I'm a former U.S. Army helicopter pilot, flew Chinooks with the 101st Airborne. I know that you were our sister rivalry division with the 82nd Airborne, so looking
Yep.
forward to having
Yep.
some story swapping down the road. But thanks for having
Oh,
me.
yeah. Good times. All right, great. So, what in scaling businesses and being a part of sales, where are you seeing sales go, and what are you seeing business owners fail to adopt potentially the direction that sales is going?
Boy, that's a very multifaceted question. I think when
Yes.
it comes to how do the businesses and business owners stay ahead of things, I think that start to talk about things like AI, artificial intelligence. If you're not in the game, you will be left behind. I think that's critical right now. Another component is, I believe, rigor and scalability and repeatability in the methods you're using to go sell your product.
What, so saying that if you're not adopting AI, you're going to be left behind. So what if someone as a business owner, what should they be looking at to get started to even understand how they can adopt this technology that's moving
Yeah,
faster than light right
that's a
now?
great question. I think if you're starting with a blank piece of paper, there's a lot of information out there that talks about how to get started with things like ChatGPT or WatsonX when it comes
Hmm.
to actually implementing and using it. I would bet that a high percentage of people have ChatGPT or Gronk on their phone, Grok rather. Gronk is the football player. But having something like Grok on their phone where they can ask questions and get information, readily at their fingertips. There are a lot of sites that show how to get started in ChatGPT, how to write prompts. There's prompt engineering courses out there now. I think that you have to educate yourself in what it is that you want out of an AI engine and where do you want to take it. It's everything from optimizing your existing resources to streamlining those resources and to finding ways to actually get the AI engine to anticipate your next set of needs and get that presented to you in a form and fashion that makes sense for your business.
Interesting. So would you suggest someone does their basic research to understand how, I mean, AI essentially is giving you feedback in direction, right? It's like if you were to speak to an expert, depending on what it would be, right? Like it's going to give you input, it's going to help you. But in order for your company, say you have a sales team, would you leverage an expert coming in to help you develop those processes? Or would you suggest more that it's at the point where, hey, you can look at some of these different tools and it'll be able to get you to where you need to go?
I think you have to leverage the expertise that exists in the market today. At some
Yeah.
point in time, you may not need that expertise if you do your homework and dig in and really learn it. But it's like somebody giving you a bicycle without training wheels and saying, go forth and ride. Like you may eventually get it. You're going to fall on, blood your nose and scrape your knees. You may eventually get it. But you may get seriously hurt in the interim. And that includes things like, the old adage of garbage in, garbage out when it comes to
Mhm.
AI. Like if you're not asking the right questions, you're not understanding the repository of information, the whole trust but verify thing comes into play. And once you have that established and you know things like what's the source of the LLM? Is it within your company? Is it staying within the geofence confines of the information you have and you know to be true and accurate and verified? Or are you going outside into a wiki space, but you verify the data? So
Mhm.
once you have done all of that, that's foundational to making sure that the use of AI is something that's going to help you and not be somewhat of a ticking time bomb or some kind of a
Interesting.
surprise that has a bad ending.
I would actually relate it less to a bicycle and more to a helicopter for a
Yeah.
company because if you do something wrong in implementation and you lose millions of dollars, you have a fiery crash
Yeah.
and you're losing people.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, I like you. I think it'll get there one day to where it's like, hey, this is a problem. Here's a solution. But right now, there's so many different ways to implement it that people don't understand or even recognize yet, because the tools that are pushed into it, where it gets the information, the whole, hallucination, like, is it providing you real feedback, or is it like stuck in a loop to where it just provides you output because it can't find something?
Right. And
Now,
it's interesting, Jason. We start talking about AI, and some people are fearful for their jobs, like AI is going
mhm,
to replace me. And I don't think that that's the case. I think that it provides an opportunity for each of the people in roles that are worried to be more efficient in their job that they're doing. Like they actually could become more effective and have more bandwidth to do things. Everyone's got their to-do list, right? They're 1 to 10, and they
mhm,
got to get done. And at the end of the day, it's 20, and it actually allows you to go off and do other things of more importance than some of the more menial tasks that AI can do in a matter of minutes that may take you, an hour or longer to get done. So I think the framework of how you look at AI and what it can do for everybody from the individual user all the way up to the corporate level is more of an augmentation of the workforce, not a replacement of it.
is so. If you look back at different revolutions, like this is a revolution, and I think it's a revolution that everyone is aware of. And I think you always have people, industrial revolution, who wanted to hold on to their position. And instead of doing that, where something as clear as this, you could say, the information is on YouTube. I can go learn about this. I can then bring it back to the job, position myself, and look for roles and opportunities where I can then essentially solidify my position to help them with this revolutionary chain that's going on. So people should be taking action versus, in general, like, I find this, you have employees and employers are the ones taking action, upper level management, and then you have the employees who are like, I'm worried about my job, I'm not going to change anything, but I'll continue to complain about it, where now they have the opportunity where they can, like, go and get everything they need, all the research to, like, advance themselves. I mean, it's been this way for a while, but, like, this is something that everyone knows is coming and they have to take action,
Yeah.
right?
Think about, you talk about revolutions. Think about part of the industrial revolution in the automotive sector, where
Mm-hmm.
robotics was a big concern for auto workers. Like you're going to
Yeah.
replace me with a robot. And the fact is, injuries have gone down. The ability to scale and get automobiles out much faster. Design cycle times are much faster because you can iterate quicker. Think about way back when I was in the design automation space. Automobile design was a 3 to 5 year cycle. Like whatever they designed in didn't hit the assembly line for 3 years. Then
Right.
eventually
Yeah.
the big three reduced that down to a year, and then 9 months and 6 months. So it's totally possible and probable that when a design implementation takes effect, you're seeing that in a production vehicle within the next year. And
Yeah.
it's just and it hasn't really. I mean, the automotive workers, are doing different jobs. They're not sitting there, as Rosie the Riveter, and they're not putting, bolts into a machine, into a car, but they're actually looking at quality and making sure that everything's lined up and everything that allows the vehicle to be higher quality and compete on
Yeah.
a global basis all take effect because of the work they're doing in conjunction with the robot.
It's, so with all that, how would you help people essentially advance based on your background? How would you help their business do better?
I think it's scalability and repeatability of processes. And you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned flying a helicopter. I'm
Yeah.
an extremely process oriented individual, and that process is scalable and it's repeatable, because if you don't have a process and you don't scale it and you don't repeat it, bad things happen at a helicopter. So you have to be able
Yep.
to have a process that is
Pre-flight checks.
yeah, exactly. And so, from my perspective, it's about helping to educate people and take that anxiety and fear and uncertainty away to show what the good is and what the next turn of the crank is, whether it's from WatsonX or
Mm-hmm.
OpenAI for ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot. All of those are tools at your disposal to help you be a better worker. And I think those that don't utilize it and just kind of want to put their head in the sand, they may survive for another 6, 12, 18
Yeah.
months. But at some point in time,
Last
technology will
short.
catch them, and their peer, either down the hallway in another cubicle or in another company, who took the time to learn how to write prompts and do revisioning and
Yeah.
understand the AI engine, is going to replace them because they're going to be more marketable. So this is like you said, this is a revolutionary opportunity to actually learn something new about the high tech industry and how you can contribute.
And it in a sense is easier than coding. It's not like where the dot com hit. You need to learn
Right,
a whole new language of C++.
right,
It's like understanding the operation of of a high performance automobile. Like you need to know where all the different buttons are, the e-brake or the brakes, how the brake system works. Maybe you have a clutch, how to do all that. Once you get that in place, you can drive it anywhere.
Right. Exactly. And
Now,
that's where the prompt engineering work comes in. You can take online
mhm,
courses to understand how to write a
yeah,
prompt or how to revise the prompt and make it so that you are more efficient in that space and how you can help your employer actually be more productive because the level of quality in agentic AI, where they're actually suggesting things back to you through the AI engine itself, it's this self perpetuating motion where you get better and better and better at it to the point where you're optimizing what could be profitability for the company, and that's
yeah.
a huge feather in your cap when you do something like that.
Now, if a business was searching for help with this, what would they, how would you help solve their problem? How would they find you? How would you go in and what solution would you provide them?
So, I'm on LinkedIn. You can just go to LinkedIn and search for Skip Vish. My email, happy to give that as well, skipvish@gmail.com. You can reach out. I'm happy to share my experience. I have been part of the IBM WatsonX tech forums. There's a lot of information to be had, to learn, to digest with what Ask IBM is all about. But I've had the privilege of being in on the ground floor with WatsonX as they roll out their AI solutions with Granite. Also, familiar with ChatGPT, OpenAI, and all the
Mm.
variants of ChatGPT, whether it's Turbo or 4.0. There's so much happening out there. I'm happy to be a resource if someone wants to ask some questions and talk through how some processes may be able to help them do their job better or help their company.
So if companies essentially looking to implement AI, they'd reach out to you and be like, "Hey, I'm looking at doing this," and you would say, "Hey, yeah, let's have a sit down. Give me a better understanding of what's going on, and I can help you solve these problems."
Happy to do that. Happy to share my experience. I've been in the software industry as a SaaS sales leader for over 30 years now, so I have a few notches on my belt where I can talk about experiences.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely, my pleasure. It's great to meet you. Look forward to
You
swapping
too.
stories between the 82nd and 101st sometime.
That's right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay. Bye.